What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here, and that calming, quiet noise that you hear right now is the sound of the iPad rumor mill finally grinding to a halt. Today, Apple sent out press invitations for a March 2nd iPad 2 launch event, or at least an iPad 2 announcement event. So let's go ahead and run down what we can expect. So oftentimes these Apple press invites are a bit ambiguous with what's going to get announced. Maybe there's stripes in the background for some sort of tiger or leopard for an operating system, or hints that maybe it might be iPhone based. They really took the direct right at you approach with this one. There is a picture of the iPad in the corner, and the event is on Wednesday, March 2nd. And that means there's a big number 2 right in the middle of the invite. So you've got an iPad and you got number 2 right there. So iPad 2 most definitely is going to be the focus of the event. Now there have been a ton of rumors circulating, and I've been really trying to not inundate you with videos on iPad rumors, you know, as sort of a play just to get views. So I really wanted to wait until we had sort of everything together. We had a launch event, and now we finally do. So let me recap what I think we can expect with the iPad 2. So the first thing I think we can expect, nothing new, is the same 9.7-inch screen with chances are the same resolution. We're going to see a little bit thinner display, which is going to be a little bit of a thinner body. And the rumors have been suggesting that it's going to be a little bit on the tapered side. So it'll look a little bit different. It won't be like the iPhone 3G, the iPhone 3GS, where you couldn't really tell what the difference was. This is going to be a more stylized upgrade, so similar to the iPhone 3GS to the iPhone 4. This is the first iPad upgrade that we've seen, being the second generation device, so it hasn't really been a precedent set yet. The big announcement presumably is going to be on the cameras. A front and rear facing camera being featured on the iPad 2 seems to be all but a certainty, with recent supply chain suggesting a 5-megapixel camera on the back and a VGA camera on the front, most obviously for FaceTime. So you can get your video chat on and take your self-portrait Facebook photos with your iPad whenever you'd like. It's probably going to be the largest announcement. What we might see is the next generation A4, perhaps called the A5 chip, that'll make its way to the next generation iPhone as well. The trend has recently been towards dual cores. We've seen it with Tegra 2, we've seen Qualcomm announce dual core chips. It is widely being presumed that Apple is also going to follow suit with a new dual core chip, which should be pretty fantastic and hopefully very fast and on par with what we've seen from the likes of NVIDIA. Their Tegra 2 chip is blazing. So hopefully the iPad 2 will feature a faster processor, doubling of the RAM, making for a more elegant experience using the tablet. What's more important to me, and this is from a personal standpoint, and this is a bit of an editorialization here, I am less concerned about a spec update. I'm less concerned about a dual-core processor and more RAM as I am about the user experience. And for me, iOS has gotten a bit on the stale side. It hasn't changed all that much since 2007. The changes that iOS has experienced has really been in the hands of the developers in the forms of apps and new features and functionality that has subsequently unlocked. But the core look and feel of the operating system itself hasn't really changed. When you look at, for example, the lock screen of an iPad or an iPhone, there's a severe lack of information there. Competitors, Android, for example, most notably, you look at Palm WebOS, are doing things with their real estate. iOS notification systems that sort of pop up, are intrusive, and have to be hit OK or cancel, are really, at least in my mind, starting to look very last generation. They're intrusive, you can't continue what you're doing, it stops what you're doing. So I'm hoping that the focus of this iPad 2 event will also be showing perhaps the next generation operating system that will address this. Apple has always been on the cutting edge of design from a user experience standpoint, so I don't expect the company to rest on their laurels and continue sort of the same icon row after row after row format that they've been doing. I like iOS. iOS is still my preferred operating system. I think it's elegant, it works well, and it works well for me. But competitors are really coming up quick, and a lot of people's minds have surpassed iOS in terms of functionality. So it's sort of hopeful that Apple will advance the operating system beyond what we've seen. So those are sort of the general specs and what we can hopefully expect with the iPad 2. There have been rumors of perhaps even a micro USB port, an SD card slot, even talk of LightPeak, which is sort of a new data transfer-esque technology making their way onto the iPad. I wouldn't necessarily hold my breath for that. There have been sort of new standards and laws in the European Union that are mandating a standardized charging port, so perhaps maybe we'll see a micro USB used as a standard alternative. But I'm not hoping for that, nor do I think we're even going to see it. I think that 30-pin connector is going to be here to stay. So what do you guys think about the iPad 2? Is it the tablet you've been waiting for? Certainly, whether you want the iPad 2 or don't want the iPad 2, the sequel to the world's most popular tablet is entering a much more competitive world than when the first generation entered. You're now living in a time when the Zoom is going to be available. You're going to have the BlackBerry Playbook. You're going to have the Galaxy Tab 2 and the Tab 10.1, the 3D G Slate, which is kind of neat. So you're going to have a lot of options when it comes to tablet. I think Apple really has to bring their A game if they want to retain their dominant market share. Love to hear what you guys have to think. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.